Welcome fifth grade. So we're now into chapter 2. All right, so we're going to be studying a little bit about how Latin America is shaped by its history. So we're going to set aside the elevation and climate a little bit, but for the most part we're going to be focusing on some of the ancient civilizations for the first couple lessons here, and then getting into some more of how the climate and elevation and all that stuff have influenced South America and Central America and the Caribbean. All right, so here we go. So your notes for this lesson, I want you to make a VIN diagram. All right, a VIN diagram is usually when you have two circles, okay, and on one side you have a topic. All right, so on one side you're going to have the Mayas, on the other side you're going to have the Aztecs, okay. And in the bigger part of the circles are where you have their differences. All right, and the circle that's in the middle here, all right, this is where you're going to put the similarities that they have. All right, so as we go through the lesson, look at the differences between the two. So when we talk about the Mayas, you're going to write your differences over here. When we talk about the Aztecs, you put your differences over here. And when we get to the similarities, you put the similarities in the middle. All right, should be easy enough. So here we go. Okay, so the Mayas. All right, so this group is a group that thrived in Central America and southern Mexico from about 300 to 900 A.D., or which is about in our time frame here. All right, so we're talking like Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, the Yucatan Peninsula, there in Mexico. Okay, they built pyramid-shaped temples. Okay, so it had four sides and came to a point at the top. Another cool thing is that they created this number system that included 0. All right, and 0 is important because 0 is like a place marker. Right, it shows you where you have nothing. Okay, and before we didn't really have that, so you could have something of everything. So it kind of makes it unique. And then lastly, they created paper from fig tree and bark. Okay, so the very first papers that we have are still fibrous in nature, but in terms of their smoothness, you know, it's not smooth like the paper that you're probably writing on. It would be more rough, textured, something that they could easily make. All right, Aztecs. They settled on an island called Lake Texcoco in central Mexico, which they built into their capital city called Tenochtitlan in 1325. They created an extremely large empire. They built these huge temples to different gods and goddesses. They were also able to create over 1,000 different medicines from plants. So because of because of the type of civilization they were, they needed these. And then they also were traders that carried goods throughout the empire. So we see this network of trading already established in our area. Okay. And then so some of the things that they had in common. They built these great cities, which are true. Some of the cities are enormous. I mean, Tenochtitlan had almost close to 100,000 had close to, I think, 1 million people that lived in it or lived near it. You know, we're talking 1325. There's 1 million people living in this area. They were able to create irrigation system to water their crops. Okay, so the concept of engineering is advanced for this time. They were able to design an accurate calendar based on the movement of the stars. All right, and think about the Mayan calendar says that the Earth is going to change in December. Okay, so we'll see if that happens or not. You know, they also developed a system of writing using hieroglyphics, which a hieroglyphic is a picture that represents a word or a phrase. Okay. Then also they were farmers, so they grew crops and also corn or maize. Okay, so these are the notes for the lesson, just some basic information. We'll get more into the meat in class when we do our activities, but your notes should look like this.